I have a love-hate relationship with the Scooby-Doo movies. I love the set design, costumes, acting, cast, props, the dialogue, sort of the writing, not really. But most of all, I love Shaggy. And what I hate about them is the crippling emotional toll the movies take on you in your later years. These movies were always a really fun experience, full of laughter and excitement, and what seemed to be the realest, purest friendship ever put to screen. And so the other night when I was with my niece, I saw the Scooby-Doo movies on Netflix, and I put on Scooby-Doo 1, mostly for my own viewing pleasure, but soon into the movie I was overcome by tears and a sudden dreadful realization. The realization was that years ago I had had a sudden dreadful realization. Years ago it had hit me that the truest, most wholesome combination of man and dog was a lie. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo were best friends, but Matthew Lillard, the actor who played Shaggy, and Scooby-Doo were not. Because Scooby-Doo isn't real. Now, in no way do I mean to discredit Neil Fanning. His voice was probably more helpful than the CGI in making me believe that Scooby-Doo was really there. Him and Lillard clearly did have a sort of bond over the role, which can be seen in one of the behind-the-scenes clips from Scooby-Doo 1. But that relationship, like presumably all other movie relationships, besides the gross ones, was nothing but a fabrication. I fail every day to understand how Matthew Lillard gave such a genuine and emotional performance to literally nothing, or sometimes a disembodied dog's head, or sometimes a decapitated dog's body. But he is literally oozing with friendship and camaraderie and other forms of oozable love. And I guarantee that you are all sitting there thinking to yourselves, you're upset that you got too attached to a CGI dog in a man's relationship in a kid's movie? And it's affecting you existentially in everyday life? And I'm saying yes. And you definitely should not blame me for this. Because the filmmakers went out of their way to make my young, malleable brain believe in Scooby-Doo. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you probably haven't watched the behind-the-scenes features of Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, and I don't blame you because they are impossible to find online. Recently, the behind-the-scenes footage from the first movie has been making its rounds in the form of Shaggy memes, which all completely lie about Shaggy's true power, but they are absolutely nothing compared to the Monsters Unleashed extras. Because these behind-the-scenes clips are impossible to find online, I may have had to learn to rip a DVD to get these, and the clips that I use will be few and far between, because the fact that they're not online makes me believe that they are probably heavily copyright protected. So let's see if I get taken down for this one. There was a special feature on the Scooby-Doo 2 DVD called the Triple Threat Featurette, which is the one I will be referring to most within this video. Because this is the one where the filmmakers really screwed my mind. The idea for this featurette was that Neil Fanning would walk around with a camera speaking as Scooby-Doo to cast and crew members, and it would lead into the segments which were behind the scenes for sets, stunts, and special effects. That's a lot of S. And now, we're gonna watch some of it. Roo!
Hey, what's this? A camera? I always wanted to be a director. Well, it's Scooby-Cam.
Ray, what's this? So you can see how this segment works. It's Scooby-Cam, I had forgotten how poorly they edited reuse Scooby-Doo footage in to lead into this segment. It was a CGI dog, but they pretended he was on set with all of them. Even though there's several clips that show that he's not real, and the special effects behind the scene obviously shows how they made Scooby. Now, all you Bigfoot believers out there, you'll be great at noticing this right now. This is the only time Matthew Lillard appears on the actual Scooby Cam segments. And you couldn't have just had Scooby-Doo interact with Matthew Lillard once to put my mind at ease, so I would have a little bit of headcanon, so I didn't go crazy thinking about how Matthew Lillard never met Scooby, but other people did. It just hurts more and more the more I think about it.
Wowee! It's all happening here.
It's all happening here.
Who's there? It's Scooby Vision. Look!
Look! I won't be showing any of the actual behind-the-scenes documentaries in this, because those are the bits that I assume are heavily copywritten. But I would recommend buying this DVD to watch these, because they are some of the best behind-the-scenes features of a movie I've ever seen. And I watch literally every special features for every DVD I ever get. And Blu-ray.
Wow! Cool! Look! It's the writer, James Gunn!
Scooby!
Hello? How are you?
How are you doing, Scoob?
So, this is a strange segment where Scooby-Doo interacts with former Guardians of the Galaxy director Jim Gunn, and there's nothing really weird that happens in this clip, but just with what's currently happening with this guy, it just feels weird for some reason.
I'm sitting here and I'm working on some lines, seeing if maybe there's something that we can write for you in this next scene. Let me give you a little pitch.
Okay.
Next scene, it's going to be you and the rest of the gang. You're on Old Man Wiggles' front doorstep, and you're going to fall through a trap door.
Okay.
Now, when you fall through the trap door, you could either say Rikes, or Ruh-oh, or Raggy, exclamation point. What do you think is the most... I'm looking for something really intelligent.
Well, I think... Right?
Rikes it is!
Right?
All right, pal.
Rikes? I'd just like to point out that in this scene in the movie, he doesn't say any of them. He just falls. He goes like, "Roar!" or something.
Don't make me hungry. Hot dogs. Rosa. Ooh, it's so big. Delicious. But wait, don't forget special effects. Sets, stunts, and special effects. Fascinating. Oh, it's the director. Hey, Raja.
Scoob, is that my camera? I've been looking all over for that. I hope it hasn't been on all this time. Let's see. Scoob.
Sorry, Raj.
Oh no. They won't be able to film the next shot because their low quality interlaced 4x3 camera was used by Scooby. So you see what I mean by they were really trying to enforce the fact that Scooby-Doo is a real person, or, dog. That's still not the only feature on the special features disc that tried to reinforce this in my head. Next we'll be watching tonight on True Ghoul Hollywood Stories.
Two cowardly captors who were instrumental in incarcerating our ghouls agreed to give their side of the story only if their identities were concealed.
Yikes! Don't believe any of this.
Like I agree 1,000,000%, sir. These dudes are devious, dastardly, and destructive, and really mean people to boot.
Well, that's right.
So what really irks me about this is it's clearly reused footage from the other interviews, which is fine. But they've got a split screen between Shaggy and Scooby, so they're not actually on set with each other. Although it isn't Matthew Lillard being Matthew Lillard, it is Matthew Lillard being Shaggy. This does occur, I believe, in the movie universe, technically. But timelines can get confusing.
Cowardly? Like, is he talking about us?
No way, Jose.
Is it possible?
The little bit of reverse Scooby footage in there. Because apparently they couldn't afford to get more stock of these characters when it was going on the DVD.
Friend, like these scuzzy scaries are totally schizo.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's for sure.
Like these spooky, scary schizo Scoob! Haha! Rare monsters! I'm sorry, I've been watching Scooby-Doo footage for about a week straight now. I can't help it.
These monsters are really rare. I mean,
The last featurette, however, the dancing dog. I'll just let it speak for itself.
Don't break it. It's my birthday. Who made your dog?
Scooby's a great dancer. A lot of rhythm, great moves.
That was Linda Cardellini saying, Scooby's a great dancer. As if he was real.
I think he's extremely charming. What people don't know is how handsome he is in person.
Sarah Michelle Gellar says he's handsome in person, implying he's real. But who didn't they ask? They didn't ask Matthew friggin' Lillard. Those sons of bunches never once had the real Scooby-Doo interact with Matthew Lillard in any of these featurettes. And they're meant to be best friends. On a quick side note, this man here sitting next to Scooby-Doo is Neil Fanning, the voice. This is a cameo appearance, but he's not credited for it in the credits or on IMDb or anything, and it's not in the trivia section. So I'm going to go add this now. So if you see that in the future, that Neil Fanning has a cameo in this movie, I added that to IMDb. You're welcome. Thanks for having Scooby-Doo meet Scooby-Doo, but not Matthew Lillard. Okay, so I think I've made my point pretty clear. It upsets me that Scooby-Doo isn't real, because the friendship he and Shaggy have seems too real. These are my copies of Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. Scooby-Doo 1 I only have on VHS. This VHS I've watched so many times that I have worn down the audio track on it. The audio cuts out often just because of how many times I've watched it. Especially on the Outcast song, Land of a Million Drums at the start of it. That is almost inaudible now because of how many times I've watched this VHS tape. And Scooby-Doo 2, I have on DVD, and this is the first DVD I ever owned. I got it for Christmas, I want to say in 2004, but it was probably 2005. I'd say more 2004. I got it for Christmas, and it was exciting, and I've seen the special features of this hundreds of times, and I've watched the movie so many times, and this still works, because DVDs that you look after generally work for a long time. And I'll always have these movies, even though Matthew Lillard doesn't have a real dog friend in real life. I'll always be able to go back and watch these movies and pretend to myself to keep myself sane. This is my real-life dog friend, Misty Moo, no relation to Scooby-Doo. And she is awful to film videos with because she's either out of frame or breaking equipment in the background. But I really hope Matthew Lillard has someone similar in his life. Or at least that he just still sometimes talks to Neil Fanning. Because, man, you made it way too real. So I definitely recommend going out and buying Scooby-Doo 2 on DVD to watch all these special features and everything. I do not recommend watching it on Netflix, however, because one of the jokes is missing due to a subtitling issue, and there's an ADR line when they turn up to Wickles Manor, where they've changed Burger King to KFC, and it is so obvious, and it makes me a little uncomfortable. But so I recommend getting it on DVD, because not only do you get all the jokes perfectly done, no weird ADR, not no weird ADR, but less weird ADR, and you got all these amazing special features, as well as 2 games, the Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed Challenge, and the Mystery of the Missing Pants. Thank you everyone for watching. To end this video, I'm just going to do Scooby-Doo and Shaggy impressions until you eventually click off instead of having a blank end screen like I usually do. And I hope you guys have a great day. Have fun. Go watch some Scooby-Doo.
Rikes, Raggy, Ronster, Zoink Scoob, haha, Rory.
If you watch the cartoons, then Shaggy's a bit more like Scoob.
Racloo.
Have you heard the good news?
Rare, there's cookies.
Daphne. No, Scoob. Friends don't quit.
Like, the only thing better than an eggplant burger is a chocolate-covered eggplant burger. With hot sauce, ra-cha-cha-cha.
Would you do it for a Scooby snack?
Oh boy.
She's further away than she looks.
Ruh-roh.